Now, welcome to, well, let's call it Let's Talk Some Star Wars.
What?
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the results of the first poll we ever posted on this channel.
I think it was supposed to be the second poll, because I think we said we were going to put something else up as a poll.
No,
and
we
didn't.
said we were going to do this one, I thought. And then we kind of delayed it a couple days. But we may have promised
I don't
a
remember.
poll before. I don't remember. We'll try to do, if people like these videos on this channel, we'll do more of them.
If you don't, we'll do less.
If you don't, we probably still will. But no, we'll see. I know I do them a lot on the other channel, so. But anyway, yeah, let's take a look at the results of the poll that asked people, how do they feel about the possibility of Sabine Wren being Force sensitive?
Start with the 3%ers. Love the idea and hope it turns out to be the case. 9%, I like it, or I'd be fine with it. 16%, doesn't matter too much either way. 32%, hate the idea and hope it doesn't turn out to be true. 41% don't really like the idea, but wouldn't be that upset.
I was kind of surprised.
So it looks like in our vein, people aren't 100% good with the idea, but more people would be okay with it than would not be okay with it.
I was kind of surprised. I've seen a
But
lot
see,
of
nobody
people...
really liked the idea.
That's what I'm saying.
in
I thought
our-
there were more people that were gonna like love or like the idea than this, than like 12% combined here.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's been a lot of kind of defense of it when we bring it up in videos, so that tends to mean like, there's quite a bit of people who push back against it, but doesn't seem to be the case.
No, most
like a lot
people
of
seem
people
to
are-
not like the idea,
But aren't gonna be like,
but aren't upset with it.
yeah.
But it'll be like,
they'll
well,
deal
you know
with it.
what? Okay, whatever. We'll make it work.
That's kind of where I put myself. I'm kind of in the, I don't really like the idea, but I'm not going to be that upset with it.
I hate when you can't follow the source material and things. Sometimes that really bugs me, like Harry Potter, movies to book. Anything
this
like,
isn't
especially like movies to book, I hate when you can't be true to your source material or when you like retcon things that were fact and, I hated when
kinda
Dave
different,
Filoni
though.
changed stuff in the Tales of the Jedi and retconned
yeah.
the Ahsoka book.
But we're talking about something he did and potentially could have planned all along, but I really don't think so.
I still don't like when it feels like it's retconning.
Yeah, I don't know if retcon is the right word as much as just kind of subverting expectations.
Oh, don't use those words. Those are the like trigger words these
I know,
days.
You can't say that with Star Wars anymore. I've mentioned that before, but I don't know. Not like going to be like totally upset, but I'd be like, why?
Yeah. I
Which
agree
I think
with
is
you.
going to tie into some of the comments. So let's get to those. Huh? Start with the top rated one.
Our top-rated comment comes from Tyrannus Archive. Honestly, I think that showing the personal strength and accomplishments of non-Force sensitive characters actually makes the character more interesting. It also makes the galaxy more realistic, proving that you don't need magic powers to be special. Sabine especially has already been established as a badass Mandalorian. She doesn't need to also have the Force to be good in the Ahsoka show.
Yeah, I agree. I think it kind of sometimes it diminishes the accomplishments of a character if they have been presented as not Force sensitive, and then you're like, no, actually, they've been Force sensitive the whole time.
I agree with you. I mean, we didn't need to ever find out that Han Solo had a little Force luck going on.
Apparently,
he was just
yeah.
good. I mean, what, are we going to find out next that Poe Dameron was only the best pilot we've ever seen on screen because he had the Force too?
He must have. He had that one shot where he did like 16 TIE fighters in a row or something. It was just kind of ridiculous and silly.
The
So.
clones, they all had the Force, especially Rex.
Well,
and
everybody
Poe.
has the Force
I know,
to a
but
degree, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I see that argument a lot. It's like, I get it that everybody's connected to the Force. Everybody can probably, kind of like, the mother getting their child out from underneath the car, that moment of adrenaline. I think people could potentially, in that moment of dire need, tap into a little something extra every now and then. Mm-hmm. But, like, harnessing it and intentionally using it, that's a whole other ball game.
I agree with this comment. Because you can't make it so that the only characters that are good characters all are good because they have the Force.
Yes, that's the problem you run into. It's like everybody in Star Wars uses the Force who's cool. Oh, okay.
I mean, that's one thing I really liked about Rogue One and what I like about Andor is it's showcasing regular people who don't have the Force doing fantastic things.
Yeah.
Next comment from Tefe. As a big Rebels fan, I hate the idea. She's already such a layered character who's good at so many things. Making her Force sensitive would just seem like they're forcing her to be something she's not.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it kind of goes with the last comment here, but...
Because they are forcing her, if that's what
Pun
they're...
intended. Or maybe not.
Yeah, it always is with me. But that's exactly what they would be doing. Because she is already good at things. We saw her. She mastered a bunch of Mandalorian, their special weapons. She can do the jetpack. She's extremely intelligent. She's an artist.
She's a pilot.
She's
she
an
makes
engineer.
Weapons.
She's a weapon engineer.
Yeah, she was a bounty hunter for a little while. It's like
she can wield a sword or a blaster.
Yeah, how much do you want to add to her resume at
Oh,
such
and
a
now
young
she has
age?
the Force.
I mean, yeah,
Why not?
she'll be a little older here. She's like, probably mid-20s at this point now.
It's been about 9 years since
Actually,
we saw her
she's
last.
actually a little later than mid-20s. Well, now about mid-20s.
Probably
27 or something like that. I think she should be at this point.
I think you're right.
So, I mean, at this point, if she had done all those things, you're like, that's a little more understandable. But when she was like 16, 17 and had lived like this crazy life of, I was a bounty hunter for a little while, I did this, I was at the academy, I did that. It's like, wow. Again, you don't want to explain all that because, she's just a Force sensitive. That's why she was so good at everything. I'd rather her just be a good character. Maybe a little too good, but still a good character.
At least it looks like the show is going to show off a little more of her attitude. Because remember, she did occasionally get attitude with
not
people.
occasionally. She had quite a bit of attitude.
She had attitude with Hera when Hera wasn't divulging enough information for her. She had attitude with her family.
She had attitude against Ezra.
Oh my gosh, all the time.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to make sure that they don't lose that part of her character.
Yeah, it was only Kanan that she didn't really seem to butt heads with.
Well, she respected Kanan.
Yeah. Well, I think they all did.
Yeah, he was like I was going to say the father figure, but she also
he's like a big brother. I don't really,
lot.
kind of the big brother figure of everybody kind of looked up to him and kind of admired him and that kind of thing, I think.
Next from Deborah Miller. If Ahsoka trained her, fine. Just don't make the whole season about that, and then we only get Thrawn in the last episode. That would be a supreme disappointment if the entire series was like a training montage for Sabine.
I kind of get this. I mean, the problem is like the marketing for it so far has really been pushing the idea of the continuation of the legacy that starts with Qui-Gon and moves to Obi-Wan to Anakin to Ahsoka. They've really been pushing that in the marketing. Now, that could just
interesting.
that could just be to kind of catch people's attention. I don't think it's really going to be like all about training Sabine.
Well,
that would be a disappointment.
It is, and it's so bizarre because if they wanted to make this big deal about passing on the legacy, why not showcase Ezra?
Yeah, exactly.
Ezra is a Padawan trained trained by Kanan, who's Ahsoka could then adopt as her Padawan once she finds him.
In a way, yeah. I mean, we don't know what Ezra's been up to for the last 9 years.
Developing Force karate or something.
Well, yeah, that's the rumor.
Force karate.
But I agree. We do need to get quite a bit of Thrawn in this series because I think the series really needs to establish who he is, why he's so capable, why he's so intelligent. It's going to be really disappointing if we only get little like tidbits or little hints and peeks, and then it's like final episode we find Thrawn.
If he's going to be the big bad that's going to be like the next phase of our Mandoverse.
I think he is. I think he's going to lead right into the movies. The main antagonist.
The movies. I think he's going to and he's going to have a big thing to do with the Mandalorians as well. I feel like they're the ones who are going to build an army to go against him because the New Republic should be taking their military apart.
Whatever.
So who's going to fight him? Though all the Mandalorians are reestablishing on their planet right now.
Yeah. I think you got a good point.
So I'd really like to see them develop Thrawn properly to make sure they give plenty of time to his character development, to let people who didn't read his novels or haven't seen Rebels, to let them really understand who he is and what kind of threat he is.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who know nothing about Thrawn. Never seen Rebels, obviously never read the original books or the new books. He's just going to be some blue guy who shows up, and you better establish him because he is going to be
he's going to just come off as ridiculous, like the Grand Inquisitor. He'll be just like that
don't,
guy in the
goodness.
blue, and who the heck is he? Nobody cares.
Don't
you
even
have to give him enough character.
They do. They have to nail him. That is probably the most, in the grand scheme of things, that's the most important thing this show needs to do, is to nail Thrawn so that we really, the people who don't know him mostly, but that we really understand why he is such a huge threat. So hopefully it's not like, he shows up in the last episode and does nothing. And
no, he needs to have significant time devoted to him.
Yes, absolutely.
Next comment from DXNTTV. The issue is not if she's Force sensitive. The issue is if they can write things well enough to make it satisfying. Besides Andor, the writing has not been able to keep up with the ideas they present.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the problem, the catch-22, I guess, with Andor in a way. It's so good that you look at everything else as being, that could have been better, right?
How much of the Clone Wars did Filoni write?
That's not exactly known. I mean, he doesn't write a lot of the episodes, per se. I mean, he's heavily involved. He's basically the showrunner of the thing, but kind of Lucas at his side.
Right, because we know that this entire thing was written by him.
Yeah.
He only directed, I think, like 2 or 3 of the episodes, though.
Yeah, I think he said 2, right?
The list is out
I mean,
there.
he's
I
the
haven't
executive
really
producer,
yeah.
so he's got the power to do whatever he wants, essentially.
So my biggest concern is the writing and the editing, because we know he's got a love of the editing scissors.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the comment here's pointing out, like if it's done well, almost anything can work.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how well can you pull it off. You have that problem of it's a very highly established character for some people, and it's a brand new character for others.
Right, and it's the continuation of characters that are all already established.
Yeah, it's going to
Literally every main character is established. Even Morgan Elsbeth was established.
Yeah, but obviously to a much lesser degree than 4 seasons of Sabine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be very strange if you kind of don't take that into consideration that much, and here she's like force sensitive, and you're implying she was kind of always force sensitive or anything like that is just going to come off as really weird.
Mm-hmm. That's why I still like to think back to that other trailer where you have like a very brief cut of Sabine and Shin fighting, and Shin says, "You have no power."
Yeah.
I think that's an important thing to keep in mind, too, when you think about, are they setting her up to... The one trailer that, like, you have no power, ha ha ha. The next trailer, they're like, the master and apprentice relationship.
Yeah.
Which I think that they're leaning too far, trying to get people red-herringed.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to use that as kind of luring people in. People who don't really know much about this are going to be excited to kind of see the Jedi training, seeing a lot of lightsabers. I think that's why they're focusing so much on it in the marketing is you look at Andor and you could say, well, one of the reasons people didn't like it or didn't tune in is no lightsabers. So here is a bunch of lightsabers.
Well, boy.
Well, I mean, lightsabers are cool.
Yes, will that get us to watch The Acolyte?
We shall see.
We shall see.
I mean, we're going to watch it, but will other people watch it? But I think that's part of why they've leaned so much into this, because they do want to emphasize kind of the more, if you didn't like Andor, here's Star Wars classic style, in a sense.
Last comments coming from Zach Hawker. I think it can work if she's like a Han Solo situation where she's tapping into the Force when in combat and can maybe do some extraordinary things with what she has, but it would definitely feel weird if she goes full Jedi and can move objects around and jump 50 feet in the air without her jetpack.
Yeah, I'm more okay if she has some kind of minor force sensitivity that can be maybe tapped into to some degree, especially like kind of in combat.
Right. Heightened sense type thing when you're in a dire situation.
Yeah, but exactly, kind of like we talked about before. It's going to be really strange if she's like mind tricking people and, pulling and choking and that sounded weird. Doing all that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see that. Doing
her full-on Jedi thing?
Yeah, I don't need full-on Sabine Jedi. He's going to feel really strange, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But no, a minor ability to tap into the Force, and maybe it helps her reflexes a little bit, helps her shoot a little better, or use a lightsaber. I guess.
Conversely, what do you think is going to happen if, let's say, the show starts and we all find out that, no, she doesn't have any Force power, she's not Force-sensitive? Is there going to be backlash that direction, you think?
Well, it depends on if she's, like, being trained as, like, an actual Jedi.
Right, but the marketing has created an expectation, especially for people who do not know the characters very well.
I think if you don't know the character and you're watching the marketing, you might be a little disappointed, but I think you're still going to get a lot of lightsabers and a lot of stuff that, like we were talking about before, is going to lure you in.
Like I said, it's a weird callback to The Force Awakens where everyone thought Finn was the Jedi. Yeah. And then Finn wasn't a Jedi, and then they made him one in the third movie because they're like, yeah, we messed up. Finn should have been a Jedi the whole time.
I don't know, because it's hard to know how the casual kind of average viewer, whatever you want to call that, is going to respond to this thing.
I know, we'll have to see once your friends...
Yeah, I got friends, I got family, they'll all give me the play-by-play of what they think.
Mm-hmm. While they ask you what
is an Ahsoka?
On.
Yeah, that's the question.
I liked that question. Yes. What is an Ahsoka?
What is an Ahsoka? Well, you're probably going to need to learn a little bit watching this because you're clearly not ready. Because an Ahsoka is a person.
A person, yep.
Yes, who's been around for a while, actually.
Who was in another show that you did already watch.
Yeah, when I explained that, they were like, oh, yeah.
Oh, that girl, yeah.
But no, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are kind of just going to go into this almost completely blind. And who knows what they think of the marketing so far. If they're kind of excited for the idea of seeing some Jedi training, or if they're just going to go with the flow. I mean, again, kind of going with one of the previous comments, it all depends on how good it is, right? If it's really, really good, I don't think anybody's going to care what the trailer said, more or less. Yeah. But if it's bad, you're going to look for every reason to pick it apart. It's kind of how it works.
And this will be one of the reasons.
Could be. If this isn't done well, this will certainly be a an issue, I think.
I think so.
All right, well, I think that's all we got for you this time. So now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you think about Sabine being Force sensitive, or what you think about we had to say about it, or anyone in the comments here had to say about it. And so, again, take to the comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.